Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's showtime. Hiya! So I decided to partake of something I haven't done in a while. We're going to be fighting the big iguana in about 2.5 minutes. Me and about 50 of my best friends I've never met before are going to be fighting a great big dragon. This is actually the fight that convinced me that I wanted to play Guild Wars 2 back in the day, almost 13 years ago. They announced Guild Wars 2 was coming. It's going to be an MMO. I was interested. Good evening, Darek. So I was interested, and then I found out it was about fighting a dragon, and I went, oh shit, I'm so sick of fighting dragons. I'm not interested in this game anymore. And then they showed this dragon fight, I think, at Gamescom. And I went, okay, I'm back in again on Guild Wars 2. As we've got a great big dragon fight coming. Missed the hype train and started in Maguma. Which Maguma? Because there's 3 Magumas. There's the Maguma jungle, I think they call the lower level zones. Ah, Heart of Thorns. Yes, that's the Heart of Maguma. The difficulty in Heart of Thorns, significantly more difficult.
It had a good life. Short, but good.
At least at launch. No, I was in actually from really early on, the hype train. I bought the pre-order as soon as it was available so that I could get into the beta. I got into the beta, and 2 hours in, I thought I'd made a bad mistake. I thought I'd wasted my money. I wasn't getting it at all. The game just wasn't working for me. I wasn't having fun, didn't make sense. I was confused. A couple more hours, however, and I had turned around, and it was making sense. It was very different from, I was expecting, another WoW clone, and it wasn't that. And now, /played tells me, sorry, /age, 4,328 hours on this account. I did play the first Guild Wars. I actually have the collector's edition of the first Guild Wars. I have tried maybe a dozen times. On some occasions, I've played it for a reasonable length of time, a few weeks. I didn't see that at all. Literally, couldn't see that at all. But I think my biggest problem with it... Whoops. Oh, I'm not seeing any of the ground effects here at all. Holy crap. I was dead before the ground effect picked up. I even turned off player names, and I'm not seeing the effects. I've never had that problem before. Ever.
Now that you're finished. You will obey.
Slash it all.
Sharper stick. Sand, shield us. Back on solid ground.
Played it to unlock the Ascalon Fiery Sword. I got a nice cosmetic from the amount of time I have played into it, but I don't remember. It was clothing cosmetic.
For great justice. By my
My major problem with it that I've had, which may seem like a strange one, but hey.
solid amount.
Might makes right.
No, he should be. Yeah, he should be done. Was that because it has some back and forth, which I have no problem with, but every time you have the back and forth, it respawns the mobs, and I got tired of killing the same mobs over and over and over again. And that, sadly, is a taste thing.
Here I come. Healthy and whole. I'm good.
It just drove me crazy. Really, you mostly PvP'd when you played in the day. My understanding is certainly that was a significant component of the player base. With people, that was their primary reason for playing.
Anger rising.
It's over.
And here's the crunch. Holy crap! I don't think I even got a hit on her. People are not... Weird. This is going to go really quick. People are not screwing around here.
I chose you.
Hey, I got some damage in. Go me. So many Fort Aspen Woods, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the nature of PvP, though. It's always... It's going to be repetitive. Because if you've got 5 different layouts, 3 of them people are going to like, 2 of them people are going to avoid. And if you've got 50, well, 45 of them people are not going to like, and only 5 of them are going to get played. People are always going to want to play the perceived good ones. Assuming it has a similar setup to the way Guild Wars 2 does.
I chose Janthir.
Sharper still.
Clear the air.
Not bad. 32k DPS. Better than I was expecting, actually. Actually, I should be amazed. I shouldn't be doing that much damage because this is level scaled. I have no idea how I was doing that much damage when I, upon further consideration, realized level scaling. That, God, they are melting that crate champion, just melting it. I mean, I normally camp that mob and, you know, get a number of whacks in every time it spawns. I will certainly grant that currently Mesmer is OP, and specifically this spec, Virtuoso, which, by the way, the name never made any sense to me. There's nothing musical about it. Granted, Virtuoso doesn't necessarily mean music, but I would say generally in the parlance one would say that a Virtuoso is usually we're talking music. But there's nothing musical about this. Should have been called a Mind Blade, and nothing's going to change my mind on that.
Healthy and whole.
Sharp blades, sharp mind.
And she's back again. This time I'll get some hits. That just is... That's incredibly melty.
Might makes right.
Might makes right. Got all 80s. Haven't played your Mesmer much outside of Chrono and World v World. I have 31 or 32 capped characters. Another 4 or 5 who aren't capped yet. But then, of course, I'm not well. Nine is the only number any reasonable person should need. Clearly. Say it with me. Maybe not a reasonable person.
No escape.
Healthy and whole.
Another.
The thing is I enjoy leveling in the game. Being reasonable is boring. Well, you could make the argument that being not boring is repetitive, and I would have to agree with that to some degree. I do enjoy leveling, which is kind of a weird thing for any MMO player to say, because MMOs are not supposed to be fun to level. They're not supposed to be fun until the end game. What the hell's wrong with you, Lens? Did you get the memo? No.
Healthy and hale. On the mend.
This thing is just... This group of players is melting things. Map completion is different in this game and is nicely done. I agree. I enjoy it both in the small and the large scale. I've only done complete map comp on 2 characters so far.
Anger rising.
It's rather relaxing to kick back and just finish zones. I agree 100%. Completely.
Health might makes right.
I also enjoy a key farm, which I'll be doing when we finish up Tequatl here.
Never capitulate.
Lethal. Efficient. Excellent.
We got another... Yep, she's not coming out in time. We're going to be fine. We're going to finish it off. Sometimes I will just get on one of my characters. I'll go to a map I enjoy, and I'll just ride around, find things to do. Events that are running, whatever. Made to make a character with that Monopoly stash you hate. Oh, now that's just frickin' mean. That's mean-tempered.
Sharper still. Blade strike.
And that's Tequatl. That is the fastest I've ever seen it done. Fastest I've ever been involved in a Tequatl. That was less than 10 minutes.
The water is still. The land is ours.
I am on Tarnished Coast.
So many dead.
We shall sing their songs to our spawn who will be born here.
Yes, a fine home for all Hylic. Spread the
Rocket,
word.
destroy.
All tribes are welcome here.
We got 3 Four Winds prizes. Nothing exciting in those. Those are the current ongoing festival. I have played the festival basically none at all this time. I think this is the first festival I can remember not playing basically at all. Just had no desire to do the current festival. And drum roll please, can he get an Ascended? No. I mean, I didn't expect to get an Ascended. I've gotten, I think, 2 from Tequatl in my entire time playing the game. And I have played a lot of Tequatl.
And I deserve it too.
I did Tequatl daily for months. We will return this character to the Wizard's Tower. Ah, mistake. Should have gone to Mystic Sanctuary. It was years for me to get my first Ascended. My first Ascended I ever got was out of Tequatl. Most of my Ascendeds I have gotten through doing the Elite Specialization Collections. Put that away. Sell the junk. And then we will do our key farm. But we have finished up the daily, I think. Oh no, we finished our weekly. We finished one of our weeklies. That's the last of our weeklies we needed. What do we need left for the dailies? I have to complete a Renown Heart. Well, I'm going to be doing that real quick. I haven't gotten a Legendary the whole time playing on and off. I didn't get my first one for probably 7 or 8 years into the game. Since then, I've been working around the edges. So I have currently... I have Twilight. I have 6 Legendary Runes. I have the Legendary Relic, 2 Legendary Sigils, and 2 pieces of the Light Legendary Armor. Well, I'm a big Greatsword user because the characters I've played seriously for the most time are a Guardian, Greatsword, and a Necro, mostly in Reaper. So those are their primary weapons. So that was why I went with Twilight. Also always liked the look of it. The weekly we finished is 5 bounty missions. That is 6 out of 6 for the weekly. Probably not going to let me click this. They let me click it. Okay, I'm at 1,455 out of 1,300. That math doesn't make sense. But they're not going to let me get dailies for the next few days if I don't spend some, so I will spend some. A bag of laurels, nice. And spend a couple, and then we'll do the key farm. All right, we probably need to spend about 300 points. Come on, load in. Daddy needs a new pair of something. 300 points. I believe we've gotten all of the stuff out of the specials we have. We get a new batch of stuff in the Wizard's Vault on Tuesday. You're either a Weaver or a Deadeye. I've got a lot of time in my pistol Deadeye too. I believe what I was going to do was get some bags of laurels, because those can be turned into other stuff. So let's see, if we wanted to spend 200 points. Ideally, we'll have about 1,300 to buy new stuff when the new stuff arrives on Tuesday. Meanwhile... Alright, let's create a key farm character. I'm going to make a Norn. I'm going to make it male. And I'm going to show you that mustache that I hate so much. I'm going to roll randomly 1 through 9, 11 through 19. And the roll's a 5, which is a thief. My very first thief was a Norn with the biggest body I could give him. He is the size of a small bus. Now, I'm going to do random, of course. Just got a bunch of char. There's the random. Oh, that's not a great look, but I'm going to make it a worse look. I'm going to make it a worse look. I'm going to show it to you. That is the one that makes me so angry. If I could remove one little thing in the game, that's it. Because that's not in keeping with the Norn. It's not in keeping with anything in the game. There is nothing else that blatantly goofy. But I can work with the faux hawk and that. It's just so at odds with everything else in the game at the time, and even still, even now, when they've added maid outfits, bathing suits, there is nothing as goofy as that. I'm going to roll. It's a 9, so that one. I always go with ferocity so I can remember. The most important quality I have, the necessary 10. That doesn't fit. 13 is a 3. Intuition to guard the mists. At a recent celebratory moot held in Holbrack, 14 is a 4. That one. I blacked out, man. When I was still a kid, I had a vision. A spirit of the wild spoke to me and offered its guardianship. It was 15. That is 3. Wolf. I'm a wolf.
I am Norn, hunter of the wild.
That's me.
Born of the free and rugged Shiver Peak Mountains. In the far north, my people fought our greatest enemy, Jormad, a dragon of frost and snow.
And we got our asses handed to us. Awu is, yes, exactly.
The dragon broke our pride, but it did not break our spirit.
One of the big things about Norns is that they can
In
transform
our last hour, we heard the voices of 4 of the spirits of the wild.
into
Bear,
critters.
raven, snow leopard.
The game kind of didn't do anything with it. You
They
can,
called us south, away from certain annihilation.
I believe, transforms
founded
available
the
as an
Great
elite
Lodge of
skill, but
Holbrook.
like
We
all of the
claimed new
racial
hunting
elite skills,
grounds.
they're terrible. They're in there
Some
for
say
flavor.
we should not fight Jormad.
Because unlike, say, WoW's
I
racial
say the
skills,
greatest risk is to wager
if
nothing
everyone's
at all.
racial skills are terrible, nobody will ever use
One
them,
day
and
a
it won't
hero
matter.
will lead us home, and we will break
Whereas
the dragon's
WoW's,
icy grip.
they had to nerf the human racial after
like
all
any
these years.
prey, must be
Charzuka,
hunted.
I have a character named Muffy,
I
the
trust my
Charzuka.
instincts, the voice of my soul, to guide the way.
Sadly, Charzuka is bad.
Like my ancestors before me, I seek glory. One day,
Fortunately,
I will take my place among the
I believe
heroes
there's a
of the North.
Charzuka transmog for the rifle.
The spirits of the wild whisper their secrets to my heart. I trust in fate and follow where instinct guides me, and it has never led me wrong. I am still untested, but already my deeds have earned me
Got
friendship.
that on your
and
Deadeye.
great respect.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
Each year,
I
great
I
hunt
like
is
a couple
called
of big
in
ones. There's also the
Only
Fire
the best
Gods.
among us are invited to participate. With bravery,
rifle
and a little
is
good fortune,
ludicrous
I will
overkill
collect trophies
size-wise.
to prove my worth.
And I'm also big
I will
on the
drink and boast
crossbow.
of my victories.
The crossbow rifle and the
I
crossbow
accept
pistols.
This challenge. I relish it.
Well, all the Abaddon
Come,
set
danger.
is awesome.
Come, adventure.
I have the
In
Abaddon
the lodges
mask
and halls of my people, fortune and the spirits will
on
smile
characters. I
upon
have the
my
Abaddon
legend.
glider, so I'm a big fan of
This
the Abaddon stuff.
is my story.
Getting around. Round to get around. I get around. I have a ring. Celestial stats. Sorry. Guild Wars 2 geek joke.
Hey, over here. You don't want to miss a chance for glory, do you?
Yeah, I know. I need to kill something. Let me turn back on player names. Yeah, I've really tried to get into the first game, and it just hasn't worked for me. Oh, that guy just killed the mob that was here, so I have to try and track the one down over here then. I see the green star. Yeah, I am familiar with the storyline involving Abaddon. Oh, make sure this other guy gets hits on it too. I regret that I let him get hits on it too. If he can't be bothered to come up with a name other than X, P, O, and then 6 Ds, I'm not interested. Once you get heroes and a decent elite skill, it gets a lot easier. Yeah, I have never gotten far enough into it where that would describe what I was playing. Also, it's a game wherein I suffer a little bit of analysis paralysis. Too many options sometimes can be almost as bad as not enough. Okay, the door's open. Please don't close. Please don't close. Please don't close. Please don't close. Okay, now you can close. Yeah, there's so many skills and
May Raven bless you. The visions of
well, bajillions of combos. I think we can agree on that.
Walk with the pack. In the eyes of Wolf, we are all brothers and sisters.
Battle with the strength of bear.
Battle with the strength of bear. Why would I want to do that? Stop tracking that.
Onward.
I'm a wolf. I'm a woof. I move with the spirit of woof. Number of players running around today, either doing a key farm or making new characters for keepsies. When I bought the pre-order for Janthir Wilds, hated Mesmers when you played it, them and Necros were so anti-melee. Yeah, they would be. How did they get this worm up those steps? I want to know. So when I bought the pre-order for the new expansion,
Don't forget about the little ones. They're dangerous too.
it came with another character slot, and so, well, hey, if I had another character slot, obviously I have to make another character. I think that's just simple math, right?
All hail the Slayer of Isomir. Now return to the Snow Lords.
And so I did a
There's no
series
need
of
for
videos.
but
I'm
check.
going to be continuing those tomorrow, I expect. I believe it was 19 episodes I'd done. Basically just leveling a new character through the entire game, and I had just finished up
Very impressive.
Living World
Thank you.
Season
It
3,
was
so
a
I'm
hard-fought
about to
battle,
start
and I'm proud of
Path
my
of Fire on
party.
that character, probably
An
tomorrow.
excellent beginning.
Oh,
to
I
your
always
new
have to have
fight.
one empty
You
character
know,
slot.
a lot of folks around
for the
here
keyfarm
have
character.
Problems that need solving.
So I currently
Slayer
have
like
38
you
slots.
is a big help.
I have about
Putting your
4 or
skills
5
together
that have not
sharpens
finished
them, and
reaching the
helping
cap
others
yet.
wouldn't hurt your
I have the
reputation
new
either.
one that I'm doing
Think of
the
the glory.
play through the entire
will seek out
storyline
these
on,
problems
and
and
then
solve
this one, the
Then we shall
keyfarm
see how
character.
my legend grows.
Mind you, this is on my main account. I have another account with 10 slots. One of each character, like you, each class, and one for the key farm. As I said, a case can be made for me not having an entirely healthy mindset about games. 2 accounts. Well, hey, some people had a lot more than 2. And they actually had a reason for it, believe it or not. The reason was you would get really good rewards just from logging in every day. Really good rewards over time. Raven's Riddles. All right, let's get some Raven Riddles taken care of. Cultivate me and I will grow. That is a legend. Oh, yes. And there's a new mount coming on Tuesday. Well, not a new mount, a redone mount. Using me in battles, you're never fought alone. With me, bonds are never broken. Your loyalty. You can glide from Path of Fire. And there are a bunch of mounts. Are you completely unfamiliar with the mounts or just weren't aware of the flying mount? Beautiful in the winter sun, but rule your ice. Ice, ice, baby. I know that. You're ice. You have the ground mounts. If you finish Path of Fire, at the end it opens up a quest to get the Griffin mount. The perfect hunter, you are death. Then in Living World Season 4, you got the Roller Beetle mount and the Sky Scale mount. The Sky Scale is closer to a pure flying mount. Devour from the inside out, that's hunger. There's also the World v World mount, which is redone for the new expansion, as it now has, I hesitate to call it double jump, it's many more than double.
Raven sees all, knows all.
There are videos out there, and basically every time you do a double jump, you lose a little overall altitude, but you can jump for an extraordinary amount of time. Making spears are going to be the new weapon for available for every class as of Tuesday. If you buy the expansion, obviously. You only get access to expansion features if you buy the expansion. I have hit another level because, well, I'm awesome. That must be the dailies complete. Indeed it is.
I'm the master of life.
I'm the master of life. You can see yourself picking this up again. The game is in a really good place, generally speaking. Now, the last expansion, I personally really enjoyed the initial expansion, which came out a year ago. The additional drops they made every quarter were very disappointing. So they have changed the delivery now. It's going to be 2 maps at release, and the third map will come in 2 parts after 6 months. The first part of the expansion to the expansion will be an expansion on the existing map, and then we'll get another map 3 months after that. And then an expansion to that map 3 months after that, and then another expansion. So they have changed to a 1-year smaller expansion cadence, where every year you're going to get an expansion. Their plan right now is that expansion will have 2 maps, and then you'll get another map 6 months after that, with expansions or content additions every 3 months.
Well done. Up for a challenge?
Up for a challenge?
Good hunting.
Oh, thought he wanted to fight. The content, I'm guessing you haven't played, at least not seriously, since Path of Fire. The content has been hit or miss. Some of it has been great. Some of it has been sadly lacking. One sort of constant they have, always seem to had, is a problem closing the deal. Played about a month of Path of Fire, where it seems like they can make great content but can't land. They can't stick the landing on their content, is what it seems like sometimes. Yeah, if you finish Path of Fire, it opens up the quest to get the Griffin mount, which was in at a launch. But no one knew it was in at launch until people finished off the storyline and got the quest for it. And then that was a huge surprise. Is there was an amount they had never spoken about publicly. They kept it a secret until, I don't know, a week into the expansion, when people said, "Hey, there's this quest for a Griffin." And then also, so there's the Griffin mount, which is a tie for sort of the fastest mount. You have to start with altitude, though, to use the Griffin, and it actually requires a lot of skill to use. I'm not very good on it. We have the Roller Beetle, which is the fastest ground mount by far. It's also enormous fun, and I'm not very good on that one either. There's the Warclaw, which is the mount that they're improving for the expansion on Tuesday, where it'll get double jump. This is a World v World mount. Yeah, it does look a little bit like a Star Wars speeder. This is primarily has been the World v World mount, but it's getting double jump, and the double jump is amazing, insane looking. Then there's the Sky Scale. These are all the base coloring and skin mounts. Then there is skiffs, boats, and lastly, siege turtles. Jet-powered siege turtles. I'm sold. Well, we've got a get in here. There is an NPC. We need to prove that we're awesome to get a hero point. I would say rocket engines more than jet engines on the turtle. Yeah. Siege turtle, mind you. That's a 2-player mount. The player in the back can fire the cannons. Tell me that Bear is wagging her little tail in your heart.
Bear approves of you. I can feel her little tail wagging in my heart.
I call that done.
I call that dumb. So End of Dragons had 4 full maps. And don't let me whack. I didn't get a whack in. Damn it. Hurry South is that person's name. I'll remember them. Living World Season 4, which came after Path of Fire, had 5 or 6 maps, I think. And is a lot of times considered to be certainly the best story and maybe the best content the game's ever had. A lot of story to do in your Weaver. I haven't even done Heart of Thorns yet. Hey, I hadn't actually finished Heart of Thorns until the last year. Because the very last fight, the fight with Mordramoth. Well, when I first tried, I almost got the first boss taken care of. The first fight in it. And then I found out there are no checkpoints in the fight. And the fight was buggy, so I said, screw it. That was at launch. And it took me years. Yeah, the fight was BS. It certainly was. Now, they've fixed it since then, although the fix is kind of a cheap fix. Used to be, he'd go into this phase where everything would be destroyed on the ground, or there would be a ground effect that would destroy everything. And so you'd have to hop up and catch an updraft. It doesn't have enough endurance to keep you up for that. But now there is a ground protection sphere. So you don't have to do the hop up into air and glide function. Use the updrafts anymore in that fight. Because that's the part that was buggy. And how did they fix the bug? Okay, you don't have to go up there anymore. Just, just get in the ground bubble. And that's another heart and another level.
Becoming greatness.
Oh, give me the pistol, please.
Swarm them!
Yeah, swarm them. Swarm this. Oh yeah, fractals are good money makers. If you're doing the tier 4 fractals, That's one of the better ways to make money in the game. So yeah, they're still getting done. Let's swap those. I want pistols. No. We'll wait until we have 2 pistols. Until now, dagger. We're getting a new raid in the next expansion, so the raiders are stoked. It's an interesting one. It'll also have sort of an open world version. It'll be interesting to see if you get legendary armor components from the raid or from the open world version of the raid or not. Oh, I need to talk with the Sacred Wolf. Hey, let's go kill some Sons of Svanir. They're dicks. I have dodged attacks. Also, leveling up characters is a lot faster. They've added the adventure guide, which gives you basically a bunch of pointers. It's also meant not just to allow you to level faster, but to my mind, more importantly, to provide motivation for players to learn about things like dodging and break bars and the like. So, for instance, dodging 3 times will get you a big chunk of XP. Breaking a break bar for the first time, get you a chunk of XP, and so on.
That's how I do it.
See, that's dodging 2 out of 3. Oh, kite basket supplies. That's for the festival. Ooh, 3 quartz crystals. Another heart complete. So, for example, I will dodge in to get this chest. This is where they tell you how to dodge. And I've completed dodging attacks, and that gave me a big chunk of XP. Gave me another level. Dodge in, open it. Dodge out. New boots. And new pants. I have a rule. When I'm creating a new character and I'm leveling them up, when I get a new item of attire, I randomize my dies. I now have 2 new items. It means if I don't like the first random die selection, I have another. I will now randomize my dies. Roy, die roll, please. I'm fine with that. I have another one I can use later. A little bit with the hood. Yeah, I do look a little bit like a villain, like a DC villain. Next up, the snow leopards. Now, if no one else is around, or no one else knows the secret, the fastest way of making progress on this heart is to play with the snow leopard cubs. Playing with them is available. That is the fastest progress you can make at this heart, but the cooldown is on the snow leopard cubs is for the whole area. It's not on a per player basis. So now no one will be able to play with these cubs for like 5 minutes. I have stolen all the fun from the cubs because I'm greedy. I need to get the shaman to turn me into
Honor snow leopard.
a snow leopard. I'm now a leopard. And play with all the kitties, definitely. Snarl at the bush, out comes a doe. A deer. A female deer. Sorry. Oh my god, a snow leopard is down! Medic! Medic! It's okay. I rezzed him. Everything's fine. Then I murdered a rabbit. Everything's better. And another one. Oh, this is a rabbit making terrible career moves. And the heart's complete. Roller beetle. And I made a wrong turn. We need another hero point. Up here. Isramir. It's a really, really fun mount. It does take... When it's driven correctly, you do a lot of drifting on it. I am intermittently okay with the drifting. Most of the time I fail. Now, of course, because you need to monetize things, I have a fair number of mount skins unlocked. That looks like a lot until you realize how many are still locked. Look at all those skins. Oh, that's how they make money. Got it. Another level. Yeah, prefer that method to a monthly sub. I think most Guild Wars 2 players would agree with that sentiment. I mean, the old saw of, you know, paying with your, or, you know, showing your approval with your wallet is certainly true for me. I did not like the quality, particularly of the very last content patch to Secrets of the Obscure. I felt the base expansion was really good, really fun. The materials, the 3 content patches after were in decreasing quality of okay, poor, and god-awful. Normally, before that, for a few years, I've been buying keys every time there was a change in the Black Lion chest. That was my way of subscribing. Also, it's good content, and also I get cool-looking skins. But I haven't since for the last 3 months, the last like 4 boxes. No, longer. The last 6 months. No, 3 months. Sorry. So 4 boxes, I think 5 boxes. I haven't purchased any keys because I wasn't happy with the quality of that content. I consider it to be the second worst content the game has ever received. Well, they've said that, you know, that when they did their post-mortem on Secrets of the Obscure, the last expansion, they said basically we kind of, you know, creatively shot our wad in the first half, and we realized we can't do that. We couldn't do work on the next expansion and make the kind of additions that we wanted to the current expansion. And So we're going to spread the content a little more evenly. And I think that's a good idea. Because the content... There were so many interesting story and narrative threads in the initial Secrets of the Obscure expansion. The first 2 maps. And all of those threads got dropped like a bucket of hot phlegm. I don't even know what would be involved in a bucket of hot phlegm, but it's probably not good.
I braided the spirits. They're rarely answered.
Game is very lively. A year or so ago, they announced that's level 9. I think it was not too long after End of Dragons. They had the largest concurrency they'd ever had. So yeah, the game's in a good place. A lot of people were not happy with the content of Secrets of the Obscure. To my mind, the release of Secrets of the Obscure was terrific. After that, the content was subpar. But then, as I mentioned earlier, for quite a while, kind of one of the unfortunate things about the game is the number of times they've failed to stick the landing on a project. Anyone who's played through the initial storyline of the game with Zaitan, the final Zaitan fight.
Maybe you're strong enough to learn my tale.
Maybe I am strong enough to learn his tale. Done that initial story too much. Yeah, you hate it now. Well, understandable. I mean, the story in base Guild Wars 2 isn't great. It has its moments that are good, for sure. And it's all capped off by the one-button fight that is Zaitan. An unbelievable content turd. There's a former WoW streamer, Preach. That was from, I think that's Kakifan who gets these. Yeah, the build up to it was fine. Yes, Kakifan gets those. And he got tired of WoW and the bullshit he was having to deal with WoW, so he started playing other games. He played Final Fantasy XIV, and then he went on to Guild Wars 2, and he played through basically all of the content in Guild Wars 2. And it was interesting seeing a WoW player come at Guild Wars 2, but one of the noteworthy things was his reaction, his utter disappointment in the Zaitan fight. Which is completely understandable. I have quoted him in the past. He'd been playing for a while, Guild Wars 2, and I don't remember exactly what brought it up. I think he was asked, his general opinion of it was that, if you're an MMO player and you're not playing Guild Wars 2, and this is a direct quote, you're fucking yourself. Which is an interesting choice of words. Revamping water combat, I think it would be a huge amount of work for not a big gain. My personal opinion is the water combat in Guild Wars 2 is the best in the field of MMOs, and it's still just not good.
Interesting news.
Do I have enough? Take them all. Not quite enough. One more act dog ought to do. Rock dog, whatever the hell they are. Is that enough? It is enough. There's just not enough water combat in the game for it to justify sinking a whole lot of work into it. Yeah, it sounds like a good idea, and their implementation of it is pretty good, especially compared to everybody else's. I just don't think it's worth the amount of time, effort, everything else that would be required. You're bleeding, dude. Does that hurt? Looks like it hurts. 16 bleeds on you? You still standing? I guess if you got enough booze in your blood, you can take a lot of damage. Got another vista up here. We'll grab. We're almost to level 10. At level 10, which we'll be getting in the next 15 or 20 seconds, most likely. It opens up the storyline quest, first chapter. There we are, midair. Oh! Midair ding. Level 10. I got another cut of quality red meat. That is used in ascended cooking. Back to Holbrook, I think. Nope. All the way back down to the Wolf Shrine. Mid-air mail. That's... I wish I had said that. I would say stop stealing my lines, but I hadn't come up with that one. Damn it. Mid-air mail. That should have been mine, man. That was a gimme. It was right there for me. You know? Hi, Gamley.
Yeah, hey there, Slayer.
Yeah,
Thank you
hey.
for coming to help. I've got a serious problem. Wolf teaches us to pull together, to work as a pack. In his name, I ask for your help.
I'm always willing to help, Genley. Of course I will honor Wolf's teachings. Tell me
Gamley.
your problem.
It concerns
That's
the
like a
warrior
misspelled
shaman
Gimli.
known as Havroons. Valda, the Wolf Haroon's apprentice, was found in a death-like sleep in the woods.
Bad break for
Nothing
her.
I do seems to help. There's one treatment I have yet to try, but it requires a special flower known as winter sage.
And this winter sage can revive Valda?
I hope so. Unfortunately, it can only be found deep in the Grawl caves to the east, and it's extremely fragile.
Well, I'll get it then. We'll just line up, yeah, that ought to do it. Right there. Skipping across the water. A pup's illness.
I need help!
You guys seem to be bleeding. You feeling okay? Using profession mechanic skills. More XP for that. Ooh, message for you, sir.
Smash them!
Smash them! How's that working out for you? You guys are bleeding all over your nice, clean dirt floor. That's all you've got? Die?
Don't falter! Our God will slay the intruders!
Alright, it's possible I have overdrawn the attention.
Don't falter! Our God will slay the intruders!
I could actually get down here. I actually got down and back up.
I'm hurting here.
Spirit endures.
What is the frickin' heal? That thing is terrible. Oh, good. It heals for 6. When you attack, and an overall healing of 126. That's really not very good at all. I will pluck the Winter Sage and exit. I got downed, but I didn't die. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never going to keep me down. Sorry. A little Chumbawamba. Tub thumping. Woohoo! Alright, we're coming up to it. Yep, that was good. I actually did that well. That was a good piece of drifting. Sorry. Drifting. Nope. Ah, okay. I've got an XP buff now. Gotta back off and come back. There we go. Into the home instance. Note, this is the home instance. We get an actual housing instance, a homestead, on Tuesday. A long-wanted and desired expansion feature. We finally get real housing.
Here's the Winter Sage, Gamli. Hello,
Real housing. A really
Shaman
good
summoned you to
implementation
help as
of
well.
it, too.
She says she came by to observe you, but Wolf wishes her to be here.
Objects can be
Slipping in and out of consciousness.
placed in 3
Raving
dimensions. They
about
can
the
be
spirit
rotated
world.
in 3 axes,
The
and they
sage
can
should
be
calm her down.
scaled
She keeps
as well.
saying the same thing over and over.
As examples, they have an example in
Yes.
the video where they announced it, where basically they built a tower out of something that wasn't parts of towers.
And we need another Havrun to help us. We
It's
must
hard to
see what's
describe
happening
until
in the
you
mist
see it,
for ourselves.
where they sort of decompose. They
leopards
pull out
have
like
been
one
Sven
wall,
is
and you
friends with
realize
me,
it's something
as well
like,
as
oh,
Volva
that's
and
not a
Master
wall,
Solomon.
that's an
Meet me
oversized
at her shrine,
chair
and we'll ask her for
that
her
they've
help.
rotated and placed, something like that. I'll check that one. So, for instance, if this table, you can scale that up and you could build a house out of using this part of it as say, floors. What you do is you just would lower this table down a little bit and enlarge it, and those would be basically your floor planks. That kind of stuff has been key to doing really awesome housing instance stuff from Star Wars Galaxies, EverQuest 2, and I think EverQuest, but I don't know, Rift, and WildStar. Those I consider to be the best in class up till now. We'll see if these guys can match it. So that's Star Wars Galaxies, Rift, and WildStar. I'll exit. And now we've got access to our first utility skill. Dun, dun, dun. I do miss Wildstar. I understand it was not to everyone's taste. I have no issue with that. It was to mine. I have new pants. New pants means, yep, you know it.
This is the only proper course.
Random new dies. Drum roll, please. The new dies are... That's horrifying. I like it. That works for me. Yeah, just fine. I have to talk to Air. Have Rune Svenna at Snow Leopard Shrine. In town or out of town? Out of town. Get out of town. A human margarita? The best margaritas I've ever had. There was a place near where I worked. On hot days, we would do a staff meeting there, and we would stay. And sometimes we would even, the company would pay for the staff meeting, which included continual margaritas. But their margaritas were good, but if you asked for the melon margarita they made with Midori, so good. Let's see. Venom training is always a good... I hate my current heal, though, so we've got to do something about that. That is fine, yes. Anything's better than that previous one. Well, maybe not anything. I have many Venoms. We'll change our heal. To that one, thank you. And Spider Venom. Spider Venom. Yeah, Spider Venom. Rockets. Okay. It does not necessarily help your cause when you yell rockets and then drive into a tree. I see. I am suffering from what I expected would happen.
Will be at the shrine. I know she'll want to help.
Trying to rocket the tree? I was trying to, I don't know, not hit the tree, but what has happened is what I feared would happen. If I drop a game that that I've been getting good results with, whether it's City of Heroes or Lord of the Rings Online, the number of people watching drops. It's sad, but I'd rather play what I want to play rather than actually have a lot of people here, as much as I like having a lot of people watching.
Esther Galkin.
You got to choose your poison, so to speak.
And you've brought the Slayer of Isormir. I'm honored by your visit.
The honor is mine, but this is not a social call. We've come for your help. Something awful is happening in the mists.
As I feared. I've been sensing disorder.
You come bother it laugh, at least? Yeah, well, thank you.
Shrine is shrouded in dread.
No, I can understand it. A lot of times there are
Balda, the wolf of
streamers I watch because I want to see them playing the game, and if they're not playing that game, I'll watch them. Now she's gone
mad, ranting and raving.
Her master, Havrun Solvi, is missing. Shaman Gamley has done all he can do.
For instance, this evening, I think Muckluck will be playing. He's playing Guild Wars 2 when I started my stream. He'll be playing Zenless Zone 0,
but it will be dangerous.
at which point I
requires all my
would have considered turning off my computer rather than watching anyone play that.
Let's get started. Leopard willing, we won't be too late. Snow Leopard, grant us your stealth. Let us slip into the land of secrets. We come to aid those who have devoted themselves to defending the spirits of the wild. Bless us with your vision.
114, 122. Let's go ahead and
grant us safe passage
Put the pistol
to the mists.
in to give us some more damage. My damage was feeling low. Notice some early Twitch videos you played once human. I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. I will be playing it again when we get... when the next season comes up. I really enjoyed it. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. Actually, to be completely truthful.
Worm's blood? Sons of Svanir in the spirit world? Impossible.
I think their seasonal approach is an interesting one. Only gripe with the game is the enemy's AI. Well, yeah, they have more AS. They have artificial stupidity.
Here they come.
Although it makes sense for the sort of zombie-like figures. To be dumb as a post, you know? So I'm okay with that part. It makes less sense for the actual humans, the vultures and the Rosetta. So I think it's interesting their seasonal approach. We'll see how it works. I do think that 3-month seasons is a little bit short, but we'll see. I really enjoyed it, though. I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. I also think they desperately need to change it so that you can group up with people who aren't on the same server you are.
They can come from anywhere.
You know, given how easy you can move between
I've never seen anything
different
like this.
worlds, basically different shards, on your server, and every server has 10 shards. The fact that you can move between shards means they kind of have the technology. They ought to allow you to move between servers and shards to play with your friends.
I need to rest
Not as a permanent thing, because I understand you need population control when you're dropping houses in the real world.
Won't be easy.
The server limit was kind of annoying at launch,
yes. Nothing she says makes sense.
Not to you, perhaps, but maybe I can decipher it. I'll meet you in the Great Lodge.
I still don't have a particularly good grasp on how the seasonal thing is going to work. But I'm not going to say it's not going to work until I know more. But because I've got so many things coming up right now, I can't see myself playing it in the near term. I figure when I get bored after a couple weeks of... back into... I don't need that. I need that. Everything gets wiped aside from the blueprints you've collected. I believe you can also send some of your materials from the Eternal realm. But again, I still don't... I'll have to see how it works out. One of those, the proof is in the pudding type thing. Although
taking others with me was more difficult than I
haven't had pudding in like 30 years.
Volda's condition has not improved.
I'm not convinced, but the game surprised me how much fun I was having with it. It really did.
How is that possible?
Havroons can physically enter the mists, but we can also leave our bodies behind and
no
send
pudding.
Just the spirit.
I was never a big pudding guy when I was a kid, even.
What if Solvi was killed while teaching?
For instance, chocolate pudding tasted fine, but it always got this nasty skin on the top.
Lost in the spirits.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yes, but if we rescue her from the mists, we'll have to fight the sons of Svanir, and I am no match for them.
Now, bread pudding, which isn't really a pudding, that
suggest either Weeb of Raven
is probably my favorite dessert.
They do not get along at all, so we should approach only one of them.
Agreed. Either would have a better chance than I. Gamli and I will care for Valda until you and the Slayer return.
Bread pudding is next level. Unless it has raisins, in which case it's a hate crime.
The spirits of the wild welcome you.
Gretchen or Weeby? Do we want to take Weeb? Really, Weeb or Gretchen? We'll go with Gretchen rather than... I can't bring myself to work with a guy named Weeb. Just like pineapple on pizza, exactly. Now, I hold somewhat controversial opinions on pizza. For instance, I think that realistically, to call it a pizza, it has to be flat. It has to have either a white sauce or a red sauce, and it can't go too far afield. There was a place that had a delicious Mexican pizza. It was fantastic. It had enchilada sauce. It had ground taco meat. Had taco meat spread over it. Cheese, tomatoes. They would crumble up tortilla chips on top of it. It tasted great, but it wasn't really a pizza. So that's my controversial opinion: is you can have anything you like that you find tasty, but let's not call it a pizza if it's not really a pizza. Chicago-style pizza, very tasty. Not really pizza. And yes, no weebs, no guy named Weeb. It can be delicious, and you can love it, and I have no problem with that. But if it's not really a pizza, don't call it a pizza. I can use the axe. That's right. In Secrets of the Obscure, additional weapons were added to every class, and they were no longer spec locked, so I could use the axe with my other stuff. But I'm going to instead, we're going to go pizza. Wow. Pistol. Wow. And axe pistol. Yeah, axe. Axe was added as a weapon in Soto for thieves. But also, now you can be a daredevil and dual wield pistols, as an example. Basically, they opened up a lot of
I was manufactured to the highest standards.
A lot more builds where you weren't locked into your elite spec nearly as thoroughly. You could be a Weaver's Sword on a Tempest. Yeah. Yep. Exactamundo. I have more points. Where shall we put them? Is it going to matter? Probably not. They opened up a lot of builds. It also has made things a little more difficult for them, obviously, because it opened up a lot of builds. If you want to check, there are a number of websites out there that have builds for various things. PvP, World v World, raiding, fractals, and even open world. There's also a thing that's a lot of websites will offer called low intensity build. So people who are old or not good with their hands or anything like that, who have some other physical disability, these are builds that require less interaction. A limited number of actions per second per minute. So not only is the build craft have a wider variety, but it also has more easily locatable builds for specific niches. Well, possibly up your alley too. You're a thief, you give him an axe in the back. That would be right up your alley. Or ally. Yeah, whichever. We have to find Havrun Gretchen. Ally? Right up your ally. Right up your ally's alley, if you know what I mean. A dagger up the strap. Alright, she's down here. I'm now Pistol, which I am a big fan of. Oh, by the way, if you were ever did the pistol thing for your Deadeye, you will no doubt remember Unload. This, it now uses less initiative. I believe it used to use 5 initiative. It now uses 3. One thing that turns you off of Weaver was all the split skill switching. It would be cool to use the sword on Tempest or something. Yeah, the split skills. I mean, that was obviously core, to the elite spec design.
Driver, stop this caravan.
Get out of the way.
But
Who are you?
it was very difficult to manage.
We are on a
To
tight
really be
schedule.
good at Weaver, a friend of mine
Habruna
used it in
Bear.
PvP,
I'm
and he was
saving
really
your
good.
miserable lives.
And
Now be
the
still.
standard rotation had 43 steps to it before it looped back on itself.
Get ready. Sons of Svanir on the road ahead.
Could survive in PvP but couldn't really seal the deal with kills. Well, Weaver historically has had the highest skill ceiling in the game. Right now, one of the very, very best builds in the game
They're jumping from the cliffs above. Watch yourself.
is an old favorite is back. Tempest, what is it? Oh, it's one of the air spec skills. Fresh Air. Fresh Air Tempest is back. And really, really good right now. I have to clear the road. Excuse me. I'm going to clear the road with bullets.
Such might.
See ya.
Over already?
Semi-automatic flintlocks. Between the two of them, pretty close to automatic. And I use them to clear the road, because of course I do. There's just something satisfying to me about Pistol. Let's go, Gretchen. Come on.
Erstagulkin! Why those louses in Holbrecht
I
said
mostly
you'd
only
be
use the
tired.
rifle
There's
on
fuzzy
my
backside.
Mechanist.
Is that the Slayer of Issermir with you?
It's
None other.
the
How
easiest.
did you know
That
there would be an attack on this caravan?
Mechanist
I had a warning from
with a
Bane.
rifle
Did she also bring you
qualifies
here
as
to
a
aid me?
low intensity
No
build.
matter, I owe you a debt of thanks. How can I repay you?
Somehow the Sons of Svanir have
A lot
entered
of
the
people
spirit
complain,
world.
oh, too many
They
Mechanists. I
struck
don't know
down
why
the
they're
wolf
complaining,
Havrun
because
Solvi
even a
and his
bad
apprentice
player
Valda.
is
I've never
okay
heard
with a
of the
Mechanist.
Sons being able to enter the spirit world. With Bear as my witness, it will not stand.
There's more. Solvi is missing, and his apprentice's spirit is trapped in the mists. We must help Valda return if we hope to find her master.
Congratulations,
With
we
your
received
help, we can
100
find
messages
Valda's
with
spirit in the
restreamed
mists
chat today.
and hopefully
I
save
think
Havrun
that's all
Solvi.
you, Dar.
Done. Just let me finish escorting this caravan. I'll meet you in Holbrecht's Great Lodge as soon as I can.
This is an ugly looking vest, so I'm actually going to get the better looking vest because I'm tired of looking like my chest wear is from a sofa. Okay, I can wear that. I'll lose the hood for the malign swindler and the marksman's jerkin. I'll choose the high road and make no jokes about jerkin. Me pointing out that I'm not making a joke is the high road, believe it or not. Well, once again, we have 2 new items of attire, which means we now have 3 re-dyes. So if I don't like this dye, I have 2 more shots. I like that one a lot, actually. We have magenta, Shadow Abyss, the blackest black in the game, and celery. The celery isn't really a good look. Well, I'm about to... Well, this is the sort of thing you wear when you want to go to the rave to celebrate after you do the assassination.
It's my destiny.
It's my destiny, evidently. And I got another mask. Do I want to wear this mask? It is, in fact, very slightly better, so sadly, that will be the shortest lived dye combo we've ever had. That is so strange that it changed to Persephone, Shadow Turquoise, and Eucalyptus. That the colors barely changed. Except for the celery being replaced by Eucalyptus. And I'd rather eat neither of those. Both are vile. Although generally people don't actually eat eucalyptus unless that person is a koala. Exactly, it's all part of the cover-up. Well, he couldn't possibly have been involved in the assassination. Look how he's dressed. Ask Havrun Svenna to open a portal to the mist, so we must be back here again. Koalas aren't even supposed to eat it. Nobody's supposed to eat it. It's almost utterly without nutritive value. When I was a kid, our house had a few eucalyptus trees in the backyard. And once a year, we'd have to rake them all up. And my point of view was, why bother? They never decay. So the ones that are going to fall out, why not just wait for a couple of years and then we'll get all of them at the same time? I'm not a fan. I've always hated eucalyptus because of that. I don't want to glide in that anymore. That is just the ugliest glider skin around. Oh, dear me. Dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Well, we were talking about Abaddon earlier, so let's go with the Abaddon glider. Show you. So that's the Abaddon glider. We have the face and head of Abaddon and his hands, and he is providing me the glidey force. It is very edgy. I think it goes well with my color choices, which were random, so not really a choice when you think about it.
Yes, I'm sure she died happy.
Into the mists. It's something about head tickles. You know, if you guys got tentacles on his head, above or below, I'm just a sucker for head
Svenna will
tickles.
open the portal and stay here to maintain it so we can rescue Valda.
Hi, Svenna.
I'll be right behind you.
Not an illithid lover. We see. Illithid? That's something they added later. Originally, mind flayers. What the hell's wrong with mind flayer? They were amongst my favorite D&D monsters. I believe they first appeared before the dragon. I think they appeared in the Strategic Review. I played first edition, second printing, 1975. They are approaching their 50th year anniversary, by the way. Or this is the 50th year, I think. Yeah, I'm at 49. If you haven't played since second edition, do you mean AD&D or original D&D? Because second edition would have been the white box, right? Before the blue and red box, you had the white box. Before the white box was the fake wood grain box. That's the one I had. That was the original. I'm old. Just want to be clear on that.
Look, there's Valda's spirit.
Couldn't tell you. It's plenty broke at the time. We had PDF files.
Let's steer Frostblade.
That would have been later then.
Frostbitten son of Spawnir. He calls himself a dragon shaman. What a joke.
Leave that innocent girl alone.
PDFs didn't come until what?
I'll fight all of you at once.
Mid-80s?
Jormag's will is mighty. In Dragon's
Probably would have been
name,
blue and
we
red
claim
book.
the mists and destroy the spirits
Or
themselves.
AD&D.
Come, my brothers. Show these fools the unrivaled power of Dragon. With Sylvie's power at my command, I can open as many portals as I need.
All right. These guys want to dance? Let's dance.
Such might.
They can't dance very well. DM was old school. 5th edition was up, but he wanted to do second.
How long have I been?
Oh, 5th edition much later
No,
then.
never mind. We have to find Master Solvi. He was teaching me to spirit walk when we were attacked.
Well, the original
He
D&D was
screamed and
basically just
vanished.
almost
a
an
ragged
addendum
portal
to the set of miniatures
The census
rules
Vanir
they
came
had
through it,
called
And
Chainmail.
I've been fighting them off ever since.
Chainmail
They boasted about
was
subduing my master with a magical spike made of corrupted mist.
the gateway
That,
drug
combined with Solvi's power,
for me.
could create such a portal.
They mentioned
It must have attacked Solvi's body
there were
in the waking
miniatures
world while his
battles
spirit
for
was
medieval
here.
miniatures,
Then
you know,
we'll
little
rescue
characters.
Sylvie's body just as
little
we
figures.
did Valda's spirit.
And they had a thing in the
Heal
back
the
for
wound and
fantasy
help between
battles, and
worlds,
then
and kill those who
at the back,
inflicted it.
very last page, they had a list of
First
their
we
other
get
products,
Valda out of
including
here.
Dungeons and Dragons.
She can lead us to Solvi.
That was it.
And help us prepare for whatever the Suns have in store. Remember, an unprepared hunter quickly becomes the prey.
So you're a teacher now, on top of everything else.
Hi, Air.
It suits you. But your lessons will have to wait until we return to the physical world.
I like to think of her as Air Stagalkin, not Air Bram's mom. The figures actually were how I got into it. Because the actual gateway drug was figures.
Are you coming with us, Gretchen?
I can't. I have to check
So,
in at the
I'm
bear
maybe
shrine. My people
12
need to
or
know about this.
13
I
at the
understand.
time.
Thanks for all of your help.
And
Good luck, and may the spirits
I'm
watch
reading
over
my
us.
dad's Playboy. No, really, reading it. I read the pictorials very carefully, but also would read the articles and stuff. And in the back, they used to have this sort of 2-page panel, you know, with articles around it, but in the middle was a panel across 2 pages. And it would have cool things for guys, you know, like a combination cigar cutter circumcision tool. And they mentioned a British company called Minifigs. And they had miniatures figures that they did for tabletop war games. And it mentioned that they also had a line of Lord of the Rings figures. Bing! The magazine probably wasn't giving me an erection at the time, but a mention of figures for the Lord of the Rings, that did. Yep. So I ordered the minifigs catalog, which arrived. I ordered a box of the figures, and they mentioned in there Chainmail, a game for playing miniatures battles, medieval battles with miniature figures, including rules for fantasy. And that led me into Chainmail, and that led me to D&D, and that led me into computer gaming. So the only reason I'm here right now, gumming up the internet, is because of my dad's Playboy. Thank you, Playboy. That's, well, I mean, I felt that way a great deal at the time. Definitely. For other reasons. The articles. Seriously, though. That was a time when Playboy was, believe it or not, was considered a serious place to get fiction and nonfiction published. Interviews with important people. I remember reading Ray Bradbury's stories and an interview, I think, in Playboy. Stories for sure. They were one of the, believe it or not, one of the leading publishers of science fiction for a mainstream audience at the time. Let's see, that goes there. That goes there. And yep, and that one goes there. So, yes, I wasn't reading it. I wasn't looking at it just for the dirty pictures. But I was looking at it for the dirty pictures. How about we go axe? Can't go axe. So, axe sword? Axe sword. No, sword is main hand only too? Damn it. Axe pistol's fine then. Just an added bonus at the end, exactly. No. Yes, seriously, they did have an excellent reputation, especially for interviews. A lot of very important people were interviewed in Playboy. It was considered a place where you could actually, you know, get a serious interview on issues. Playboy, of all places.
Years ago, I won the Great Hunt. Still one of my proudest moments.
Let's go with Devourer Venom. Yeah, Devourer Venom. So the truth is, I was reading it for the same reason any other 12-year-old boy would read it. Ooh, boobs. But I also did read interesting articles and interviews.
Some coin.
Got into gaming because of Pokemon? A lot of people did. I had a couple friends owned a game store. They were making really good money on Magic the Gathering cards at the time. Magic was hot. Still is. they decided to take a big risk and bought an enormous pile of Pokemon. And they made a mint, an incredible, enormous stacks of money. One of the few places that had Pokemon, because most of the places sold out really fast. And they had wagered that it was going to make a mint, and boy did they.
Hold on, Master Solvi. I'm coming.
Valda, wait. You can't do this alone. Let us help you, and we'll save Solvi together. They know we're coming, and they look prepared. Be ready for anything.
I'm ready for anything. Mostly I'm ready for shooting them a lot.
Butchers, we've come for Havroom Solvi.
Look, it's the wolf pup. Time to finish what we started, boys.
Gonna shoot again. Dodge. Okay. Wasn't shooting at me.
One challenge down.
I will now get my anger out on the bolt thrower. Remember them having Pokemon figures and the Happy Meals at Burger King or whatever, and their Happy Meal was called, and they were always out of the toys. Well, I'm certainly not going to talk crap about Burger King giveaways, because over my shoulder, do I have the right one? Yeah, right there. That's my poster of the Fellowship of the Ring, signed by Ian McKellen, and I won it from a Burger King contest.
Wolf, give me strength.
Funny thing is, it was a trivia quiz about the Lord of the Rings, and it was hard. Now, I had read the book like 3 or 4, no, not 4, 3 dozen times by the time of that test.
That's why the portal won't close.
Charbroiled is better, I agree. Of all the fast food burgers, I by far prefer Burger King.
Your invasion of the mists ends here and now.
Funnily enough,
So
the Burger King I was eating at the time was mostly once a week.
Dragon will devour
It was Magic the Gathering night. My friend
Don't let him bait you, Slayer.
and my boss,
We must
he was
clear
both,
a path to Solvi.
and I would go to play
Valda,
Magic the
protect your
Gathering there
master.
once a week. They
I
had
won't
closed
stop until
sealed deck.
Frostblade and every son of
Sealed deck
Svanir here
gameplay. And
pays for what they've
grab
done.
dinner, usually at Burger King, a couple other places.
Ha! Extra damage.
I'll cue you, play you, and make boots from your skin.
It's gonna make boots from my skin. Those would be nice boots. Oh, there were, I think, 10 questions, and they were all, you would have to have either looked them up or be really, really familiar with the books. I was really, really familiar, so I got them all right. The grand prize was a trip to London for the premiere. I didn't get that. That was the first prize. I think they gave out like 10 of them.
You haven't won yet.
But I mean, they would be questions like, you
Master
know,
Solvi, if we hurry, we can get him back to
Aragorn
Hogwarts.
marries,
The healers, they can...
My place is among the legends now. I leave the role of
Elrond's
Havroom
daughter,
in your
the Elven
very
Princess, I can't remember.
capable
Anyway,
hands.
that's only
Remember
the
all I
second
taught
case
you, and all
of
that you have
a
learned.
human marrying an elf.
Seek aid
Who was
when
the
you
other
need it.
elf? A question like
We'll
that
meet
difficult.
again.
Just learned yesterday. Yeah, the Balrog was the, well, theoretically the same height. I mean,
I'm so sorry, Valda.
he would have appeared bigger,
Solvi's burden is
or
now
it would have
yours.
felt bigger
Valda,
because
have
of
room
his
wolf.
the personality.
You must
I
surpass his
believe he is
That is
described
how his family
as,
honors their mentor.
actually in the Lord of the Rings, he's
And
described
that
as
is how I shall
a
honor you.
shadow,
This was your
man-shaped
journey,
and
Slayer.
sized,
I was
perhaps,
simply here to
something like
guide you.
that.
The heroes
Balrog description. Let's see. None of those are actually the quote. I'm looking for the quote itself. Forgot his name, just saw people talking about it in World Chat on Latro. Elrond's brother was the other elf. Well, they were both half-elven. Their mother was an elf, their father was a human. Is that right? Yeah. And each of them was given the choice as to be an elf or a human. Elrond chose to be an elf. His brother chose to be Elros Tar Minyatar, the first king of Numenor. All right, now I've got to check. I've got to come up with the actual words. Give me just a second. When it comes to the Lord of the Rings, I do not screw around. Council of Elrond, heavy meetings, flight to the ford. Bridge of Khazad-dûm. The dark figure, streaming with fire, raced towards them. The orcs yelled in blue, blah, blah, blah. The Balrog reached the bridge. Gandalf stood in the middle of the span, leaning on his staff. You cannot pass. The fire in it seemed to die, but the darkness grew. It stepped forward slowly on the bridge. Note that the bridge was like 5 feet wide, very narrow. So it couldn't have been huge. It stepped forward slowly the bridge, and suddenly it drew itself up to a great height, and its wings were spread from wall to wall. No, it said shadows about it like wings. Yeah, I broke out the physical material, exactly. And the shadow about it reached out like 2 vast wings. It doesn't make sense that it would have wings, and he would describe the shadow as being wings. Something was coming up behind them, behind the trolls. What it was could not be seen. It was like a great shadow, in the middle of which was a dark form of man shape, maybe, yet greater, and a power and terror seemed to be in it and to go before it. So, how big was it? Hard to say. Yes, I have actually 2 single volume editions of The Lord of the Rings. Again, we're talking about me being mental. Oh, look at that. I have a key.
Greatness. I am becoming greatness.
And I have greatness. Sauron would not have been giant. There's no reason to believe he would have been giant. He might have felt like it. Anyone facing him would have felt like they were dwarfed by the power of the being in front of them. And essentially they were, the Maiar were spirits. And so they had a lot of flexibility in their form. To appear differently. For instance, Sauron was able to appear in a beautiful elvish form to Celebrimbor in Eregion during the forging of the rings. I thought how weird it was that big Sauron was. Yeah. Well, he wasn't an elf. He would have been man-sized, or at least he could choose to appear man-sized. How much bigger he could choose to be, I wouldn't say much. In essence, I mean, he was a Maiar, and there was cases of the Maiar mating with elves, so essentially, yeah, elf-sized and shaped is their natural form. At least that's the way I would consider it. Back to town, back to town. All right, let's open our goodie box and see if we got any, well, goodie. We have a key. We'll sell all the junk. I will say that the books are pretty slow starting. My standard piece of advice is there are 2 chapters that if you get to them and neither of those chapters interest you, the rest of the book probably isn't going to. The first one is like the 2nd or 3rd chapter in the book. Wow. Man, it's no good getting old and not being able to remember shit. Shadow of the Past, I think. Right after a long expected party is the Shadow of the Past. That's one of them, and that's basically where Gandalf tells Frodo about the ring and everything that happened before. The second one is the journey through Moria itself. If neither of those chapters have pulled you into the book enough to keep you reading, then it's probably just not for you. It can be a tough read at times. At least, you know, that's a very commonly held opinion and one I can't really say isn't accurate.
I'm at your service.
Why are you standing next to the banker? Nobody wants to talk to you.
Hi.
You jerk. And I don't have any boxes. I have to buy a box. Won't lie, you'd probably be lazy in audiobook. I've got friends who use audiobooks all the time, so I have no objection to audiobooks. For me, I kind of have to concentrate. So for instance, I could always do homework with music on the background, right? So my brain kind of puts it into background mode and I don't pay that much attention to it. And I think the same thing would happen if I had a book being read to me. I either wouldn't be able to hear what it was saying to me because of whatever I was doing, or I wouldn't be able to do anything because I'd be paying attention to what was being read to me. And if that's the case, I might as well just, you know, read it myself. Black Lion chest. I need one, please. Oh, price on those is down. Hey, I remembered to pick it up this time. I never remember to pick it up. Let me sell the junk out of my inventory. About the same way you've done audiobooks before, but there'll be moments where I'll just straight up forget the last 20 minutes. Hey, if you've ever read a book you're not interested in, like for school, and you reach the end of a page and you realize you remember literally 0 of what you just read, let me dump all of this stuff into the auction house. I have not read the Drizzt Do'Urden stuff. No, I only read one of the D&D series of books from Weiss and Hickman, and very quickly came to the conclusion that one of them is a perfectly serviceable writer, and the other is fucking terrible. I have no idea which was which. One of them was perfectly okay. The other one was dreadful.
We all walk in the light of the six. Heed my words and be blessed as never before.
It was Weiss and Hickman. I have no idea which one was bad, but one of them was god-awful. So, I'm going to open the box. I am guaranteed to get a Black Lion statuette and a Nashblade Zephyrite supply box, which is one of the festival boxes. I will get 2 commons. Good ones in here are always the unlocks, and maybe if I get lucky on the dies, The crafting bags can be okay because I am in the middle of crafting up legendary armor sets, so those would be good. The Etherbound set is a pretty nice looking set. I have a couple of these. I have the Warhorn. I have the short bow. I have the mace. That's what I've got. Where's the greatsword? Greatsword is always a good demo weapon. It's a pretty nice looking set. Solid, absolutely solid. I would say it's probably a 7 out of 10 set. Yeah, actually, R.A. Salvador is a multiple-time acquaintance of a friend of mine who works in the book industry. She's had long chats with him a few times. She's a big fan of his. The other rare sets are the Foxfire sets, and here's the Foxfire Greatsword. Again, I prefer the other set, but these aren't bad either. I would say they're probably a 7 as well out of 10. And then there's the super rares, which I'll never get. I will click open. We'll get a common here, and what we're looking for is a 5th box to appear right there, and that will be an uncommon or better.
Make yourself at home.
And that's a 1 in 10 shot for an uncommon or better. And here we go. Just common. The teleport to a friend went there. I will throw the Black Lion statuette, which in essence is a currency you can use to buy items that have previously appeared in the boxes. We have the Crimson Lion die kit. I think I might have all of the dies in here. Used to be, these would have been broken up into common, uncommon, rare, and exclusives, but now they all have the exact equal chance to drop. Thank you, ArenaNet, for that. That is a huge improvement on the die kits. I have all the commons, uncommons, and rare dies in the game, but the exclusives, do I have all of these? I have all of these exclusives too. So, there are some really nice dies in here. The Rosewood is great. The Crimson Lion is good. The Golden Lion and Aureus are both good. If I get those, they'll go off to the alt account. Actually, any duplicate I get will go off to the alt account. If the alt account already has it, it goes into the guild bank. So, here we go. It's an exclusive. Crimson Lion. As you can tell, that's a really nice red die. I will mail it to my alt account. Oh, I also like to check and see. Bet that's a gold and a half or more. Gold 19. Yep. Off that goes to the other me. And lastly, we have the festival box. The common stuff. We're guaranteed to get one of these items that's a junk item that sells for up to 5 gold. There's some uncommon stuff. Some of this isn't bad either. The rares, a couple of these are nice. The super rares go from meh to stupidly rare. Imperial and Shadow Abyss. Shadow Abyss is a great die. It is still the darkest dark, I believe, in the game. They recently did add another batch of blackish dies.
Heed my words and be blessed.
Good ones here would be, let's see. How about the Queen Bee infusion? That would be a nice one. The Chak infusion, I think, goes for like 10,000 gold, or at least used to. Prices may have gone down. But those are super rares, and like I said earlier, I never get super rares. And that is true again. We get the quartz. We got a wood log. And we got the best of the junk items. That one's worth 5 gold.
Yes? Oh. Hi.
And that's 2 hours on the nose. I'm going to call it here. So I'm going to be back tomorrow at the usual time, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, middle of the night in Europe, morning in Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. I will be continuing the series that I stopped about, I don't know, a month and a half ago, where I was doing leveling up through all of the story content on a brand new character. I had just finished up with Living World Season 3 the day before last Epoch's new season dropped. So I will be resuming that for the next few days. And next Tuesday, I'll be back on my main. Thank you very much, Dar. I'll be back on my main, Spongo Smallberries, my Guardian, and I will be running the brand new content. Spoilers will be forthcoming, because I'm going to be playing it. And we get the new War Claw mount with its new mount functions, where in essence it gets the double jump from hell. I mean, it blings around almost ludicrously well. And also we get homesteading houses. So looking forward to that. I will be back tomorrow at the usual time. Thanks again, all of you, for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. Hope the rest of your night is great. Hopefully you'll see me soon. Back tomorrow, usual time, same bad channel. Have a great night tonight. Take care, and ciao for now.